Today you're going to learn how to graph inequalities that look like this in a number line. I'm going to write the steps right here to help you, and if you follow these 4 steps, you will never shade or graph these in the wrong direction. So number 1, make sure the variables show up first. You can actually rewrite this statement like this. It is a lot easier when you write it with the variable first, because when you read it, it's going to make a lot more sense. The variable is showing up first, so we're just going to keep this version right here. Second step, place a dot on the number. If it's got that equal sign or the underline under the inequality, we're going to use a closed circle. That means it can be less than or equal to or greater than or equal to. If it doesn't have that, you're going to use an open circle. And you're just going to go to that number, -5, and then you determine, oh, it's got the underline under it. I'm going to use the closed circle just like that. N, any number that is less than or equal to -5. So you got to just think, where are the numbers that are less than -5? Is it to the left or to the right? And if you're thinking to the left, then we're thinking the same numbers. That means it is all of these numbers are less than -5. And if you are not sure, you can check your answer by plugging any of these numbers in. For instance, let's say I put -6 for n. -6 is less than or equal to -5. That is true. You could do that for any of these numbers and it will make a true statement. If you put any of these numbers, let's say I put 3. 3 for n. 3 is less than or equal to -5. That makes absolutely no sense. So that's why we didn't shade these numbers right here. None of these numbers will make sense if we plug it in. X is less than 1. Let's graph that. So first thing, make sure the variable shows up first. It does, so we're just going to keep this version. Second, place a dot on the number. This time, it does not have an equal sign under it. So we're going to use an open circle at 1. Leave that open. You want to look at this and see if it's going to be these numbers or it's going to be these numbers. And if you write it with a variable showing up first, all you got to do is say it. Any number x that is less than 1. All the numbers less than 1. Are they to the left or to the right? They will be to the left. These are all less than +1. And the last part, check your answer. I mean, you can check out if you plug in any of these numbers in for x. For instance, we put in -4. -4 is less than 1. That is true. So that is one way to check, and you'll never have to second guess yourself if you're shading these right. If I plug in any of these numbers, let's say I put in a 7, right? 7 is less than 1. That is not true. That is why the right side of this is not shaded. So I don't want you guys to memorize this. I want you to just follow these steps. That way you're not guessing. A lot of people get this mixed up. They look at -2 and they read it greater than or equal to. They go to -2. They just shade to the right because it says greater than. That is not going to work unless you switch it up and write it like this. Both of those mean the same thing. It does not change. As long as the mouth is facing -2, we didn't change anything. We just rewrote it. That way it's easier to read. So now let's go through the same steps. Place a dot on the number. That's got an equal sign under it. So we're going to go to -2 and we're going to use the closed circle. B is less than or equal to -2. All the numbers that are less than or equal to -2. So we're shading this way. And then the last step, plug it in. Let's just plug in -4. -4 is less than or equal to -2. That is correct. Now we don't have to second guess ourselves. How about when you have to write an inequality to represent the stuff that is graphed? pretty much works the same way. We're gonna start with a variable. It doesn't matter what you choose. Write the variable and the number on the dot. So we're gonna write x. Let's just keep it x and the number on the dot with 0. Look at the graph and see if it's more or less compared to the dot. And then that is all the numbers less. So the word less than is going to be this symbol. That is a closed circle though. So you gotta make sure, step 3, that you include that equal sign there. And then check your answer once again. Plug in any of these, let's say -7. If that makes sense, you wrote the right inequality. And the last example, I didn't put the steps, but the first thing, pick a letter. Let's say K. K for my wife. And we choose the number 0. These are all greater than 0. So the greater than symbol looks like that. And it's an open circle, so we're not going to put the underline under it. We're not going to put the equal sign with it. And now check your answer. Let's say I plug in a 6 in here. 6 is greater than 0, because that's part of the shaded answer. It makes sense. Boom. Super, super easy, guys. I want you guys to try this problem on your own. For problem 1, draw your own number line. See if you got that right. You're graphing it. And for problem 2, vice versa, you're writing the inequality. Just pause the video when you're done, unpause it, and check your answers. Here are the answers for the problems. As far as the first problem, x is less than or equal to 2. You want to start off with 2. Make sure you bubble it in, close circle, and all the numbers that are less than 2 are to the left. As far as writing the inequality, start off by choosing a variable. We just kept it as x, and write the number that is dotted. If it's a closed circle, remember to put the equal sign under the inequality. And this says all the numbers, if it's onto the left side, these are all the numbers less than or equal to 5. And that's the symbol that we used. And the last question, these are all the numbers that are more than -1. No equal sign under it because it's an open circle. Hopefully our graph and answers match up. If I helped you, throw me a thumbs up, subscribe, and let me know if you need help with your other math problems. Until then, I will see you on the next episode. Peace.